I don't care who the fuck you are, you're not coaching me. I've been here for 30 years. You know nothing about shipbuilding, so get the fuck out of my face. I'm done with you. Puh. That was one of my mornings during my first week working with a client. And I want to talk about that moment and how if you go for value and you find common ground, you can still achieve great things. My name is Paul Rosenberg, and welcome to the Rogue Leadership Channel. Make sure you subscribe down below and leave your comments if there's any topics you'd like me to cover. I'm open for suggestions. As a leader, you have to find a way forward and find common ground. Sometimes you have issues, and a lot of times you have conflict. Well, the story I started out with is a perfect example of how to overcome those obstacles and move forward. The gentleman I was working with who spit in my face was ready to retire in a year. I was hired to be his coach. He wanted nothing to do with coaching. He felt I couldn't teach him anything new. He was set in his ways, and nobody wanted to work with the guy. Now, my first instinct after he spit on me was to go tell his boss. I couldn't believe that he did it, but inside, something else clicked in, which was, I'm not gonna let him get away with that, and I'm gonna find a way to make it work. I'm gonna get him in a good way, not in a bad way. So I knew I had to find out more about him and go to where he was, this space of being ready to leave in a year and not really caring about anything. Well, I found out a couple of things. This guy was a great supervisor. He was a welder, and as far as technique, he was one of the best in the yard. And that his team loved the fact that he had these years of experience, and they really looked up to him. So I found out when he was having his morning meeting with his crew, and I surprised him one day, and I walked in and I said, "Hey, John, mind if I sit in?" And he was shocked, and he grumpy as always. He was like, "Whoa, okay. You can stand over there, but be quiet and don't say anything," which I did. And as I watched him with his team, I began to take notes of all the good things he was doing with his team. Yeah, there were some gaps and there were some issues in how he was communicating, how he was talking about the numbers, but overall, he was strong. So afterwards, I said, "That was fantastic. I really loved how you connected with the team. Can I give you some help or support and some feedback?" He says, "Well, what did I do wrong?" I said, "You did nothing wrong. You were absolutely powerful." And that was a strong crew talk with your team, and they loved it. I said, "But I sense that you were struggling a bit with explaining the numbers, the key performance indicators." And he goes, "Well, yeah, I don't really understand the numbers too much." I said, "Well, how about if I help you do a better job of that the last year you're here?" And he said, "Okay." And we ended up working on how he talked about the numbers. Now, was I gonna change John 180 degrees? No. Were we gonna become best friends? No. Did we eat lunch together? No way. But I found a way to find some common ground to add value to John's life. And as a leader, we need to do that. Everybody's different. We have a bunch of personalities to manage. They all can't be like us. They all won't see things the way we see things. But if we can look for that common ground to add value, if we can find a way to add value to each other, things are going to be productive and powerful. And that's what we need to look for, is how can I add value to this person where they're at and meet them where they're at. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Make sure you leave your comments down below. Appreciate it.